Bonjour, I'm Mirna from Caspian.eco. This is my short road stories about United Nations Ocean Conference in Nice, France. I'm here to highlight the progress in blue economy, capacity development and ocean climate innovations from the Caspian perspective. And also I'm here to pay tribute to beautiful Nice and people of France. Merci pour cette formidable opportunité.
The message of today's emissions gap report is clear. We are teetering on a planetary tightrope. Either leaders bridge the emissions gap or we plunge headlong into climate disaster with the poorest and most vulnerable suffering the most. This report shows annual greenhouse gas emissions at an all-time high, rising 1.3% last year. They must fall 9% each year to 2030 to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius and avoid the very worst of climate change. Current policies are taking us towards a catastrophic 3.1 degrees Celsius temperature rise by the end of the century.
Climate change has become a global challenge, and the continued rise in carbon dioxide emissions is putting immense pressure on ecosystems. As David Koweek and his team at Ocean Visions have pointed out, the United Nations Emissions Gap Report shows that the world is on track for 2.5 to 3.0 degrees Celsius of warming, far from the goals set forth in the Paris Agreement. The scientific community widely agrees that emission reduction measures alone, such as phasing out fossil fuels and improving energy efficiency, are insufficient to meet the temperature control goals set by the Paris Agreement. Consequently, the global focus has shifted from emission reduction to achieving negative emissions, which involves actively removing greenhouse gases from the atmosphere. The ocean is at the forefront of the climate crisis, yet it also holds the key to our survival. In recent years, advancements in ocean science and interdisciplinary integration have enabled scientists worldwide to explore a variety of ocean-based negative emission approaches, collectively referred to as ocean-negative carbon emissions. At the 2025 One Ocean Science Congress, scientists from around the world engaged in in-depth discussions about the technological approaches, ecological risks, economic assessments, and international governance frameworks of ocean-negative carbon emissions. As a member of the Executive Committee for the United Nations Ocean Decades Global Once program, which co-organized this conference as a gold partner, we are proud that our chief scientist, academician Nianzi Zhao, delivered a keynote speech at the opening ceremony of the One Ocean Science Congress. Professor Jean-Pierre Gattuso of Sorbonne University used a swimming pool model to demonstrate the importance of carbon dioxide removal technologies. Due to the insufficiency of current mitigation efforts, he emphasized that accelerated carbon removal through artificial technologies will be essential to meeting the Paris Agreement's target of limiting global warming to 2 degrees Celsius. Professor Philip Boyd of the University of Tasmania stressed that relying solely on terrestrial carbon dioxide removal would compromise the efficiency of climate governance, underscoring the urgent need to unlock the potential of marine carbon sinks, or the blue frontier. Professor Christopher Pearce of the National Oceanography Centre in the UK emphasized the ocean's immense capacity to store carbon, which is up to 20 times greater than that of the Amazon rainforest. However, he emphasized that this requires striking a careful balance between environmental safety, ethical considerations, and policy oversight. Academician Zhao's triple real vision provides a philosophy for the responsible development of marine carbon dioxide removal. So let's break it down. First, negative carbon emissions approaches must be reasonable, realistic, and reproducible. This means grounding our work in rigorous science. For example, Shandong University professor Yubin Hu's research on olivine gives us a realistic picture of its potential. It can increase alkalinity, but it also has limitations, such as a very slow dissolution rate. It takes up to 200 years for olivine to fully break down. Similarly, Manon Berger of the French National Center for Scientific Research's modeling of seaweed farming highlights the complexities. Under certain nutrient-limited conditions, its carbon removal efficiency could drop significantly, underscoring the need for careful site selection. Implementations of negative carbon emissions must be ecological, ethical, and equitable. This aligns directly with One Ocean Science Congress Recommendation Number 2, which states that solutions must be environmentally safe. However, Callum Ward of the University of Southampton's research warns that some approaches, such as iron fertilization, could threaten marine biodiversity and accelerate acidification. Professor Nina Bednarsek of the National Institute of Biology in Slovenia's research shows that, while some species may benefit from increased alkalinity, many calcifying organisms could be adversely affected. For this reason, Adina Peitan, a distinguished professor at the University of California, Santa Cruz, advocates for an opportunity risk ethics governance framework to mitigate these risks. Adina Peitan's keynote is nothing short of spectacular, capturing the very essence of scientific progress, practice, and policy on negative carbon emissions with remarkable depth and clarity.
All of these are all important things to consider, and the only way we will be successful in achieving our goals for trying to combat climate change by doing MCDR is if we do it together and we think about the ocean and its health and benefit and not only about us as people. Thank you. That's the summary.
Brilliant.
The objectives of negative carbon emissions must be ambitious, actionable, and achievable. As Professor Jean-Pierre Gattuso explained, using the swimming pool model, current mitigation efforts are insufficient. This makes accelerated carbon removal essential to meeting the goals of the Paris Agreement. This ambition can be achieved through concrete steps, such as the Memorandum of Understanding signed at the Congress between Globalance and Institut Français de Recherche pour l'exploitation de la mer to jointly advance demonstration projects. Currently, a comprehensive carbon sequestration demonstration project integrating 4 major ocean carbon pumps is being advanced. The biological carbon pump, microbial carbon pump, carbonate counterpump, and solubility carbon pump. Artificial upwelling technologies, for example, bring nutrient-rich deep water into the euphotic zone. This enhances algal carbon sequestration and alleviates hypoxia and acidification, achieving environmental co-benefits. Negative carbon emissions governance must be legal and guided by the London Protocol, which includes liability. This pillar addresses the governance gaps identified by experts like Lena Rochelle from the Research Institute for Sustainability in Germany. Lena Rochelle noted that the London Protocol currently only regulates a few marine carbon dioxide removal technologies. She called for the creation of a cross-convention coordination mechanism that links climate governance and biodiversity protection goals. This creates the need for a clear code of conduct, as discussed in a town hall session led by Dr. Oliver Ashford of the World Resources Institute in the UK. Dr. Ashford presented the findings of a new blue paper commissioned by the Ocean Panel on the status of current MCDR technologies. This paper covers their efficacy, cost, scalability, potential social and environmental impacts, and monitoring, reporting, and verification needs. Finally, Professor Zhao pointed out that the International Organization for Standardization, ISO, has approved the formation of a working group dedicated to negative emissions and carbon neutrality. This concrete step will help lay the groundwork for developing international standards and rolling out these technologies globally. This global framework guides our Caspian CDR and Team Caspi projects. As United Nations Ocean Decade endorsed projects, we are committed to this responsible approach to innovation. Our work is hosted by the Global Ecosystem for Ocean Solutions GEOS program at Ocean Visions. GEOS's mission is to accelerate progress on marine carbon dioxide removal by developing open access products such as interactive roadmaps and research frameworks to help the global community address knowledge gaps. We operate under the principle that taking positions on deployment is premature while the science and governance gaps remain so large. Our role is to generate the critical knowledge base this decade so that informed decisions can be made. The enclosed nature of the Caspian Sea allows for careful study, helping us to understand the potential risks and benefits before considering larger-scale applications. The future of climate action is being written now. To learn more about our contributions to this vital research, visit Caspian.eco. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the One Ocean Science Congress. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our content. We can't wait to share our next videos about the United Nations Ocean Conference.